You're about to see 10 different chefs
from 10 different countries
make rice.
I'm making biryani. Biryani is a very, very technical and a very intricate dish. It's basically made with meat, rice, aromatics. We are using long grain basmati rice. The rice has this yellowish hue to it, which means that the rice has been aged for a while and it develops an even a nicer aroma. It is probably the most consumed starch in the country. So we've had the rice soaking for about 30 minutes. All the water has been absorbed by the rice. I have a pot in front of me. Best ways to build flavor into the rice is also to perfume the rice. A bay leaf, dry red chili, cloves, some cinnamon, 1 star anise. We're gonna go with a rice that's cooked about 75% done. When you layer it with the meat, that's gonna generate steam and that's gonna complete cooking your rice. I like to keep a large sheet tray just to spread the rice out. And you see how much steam there is. So if this just sat on top of each other, the rice would completely overcook. So the first step of assembling your biryani is taking your jhol. The jhol is basically a mixture of the ghee, the saffron, and the cream. Is gonna give your final layer of perfume to the rice. It makes sure that your biryani doesn't stick to the bottom because it's got ghee. If there's any excess moisture, the clay pot's gonna absorb all of that up. And then my meat. The layers are what make it biryani because when it cooks, all those layers come together. I have dough. We're gonna create a seal. As this cooks, there's gonna be a lot of steam that's generated. The dough is gonna trap that steam inside. Traditionally, this was put over an open flame. You would put a plate and then you would put this on it so that the heat would go bottom upwards. A really nice way of cooking this also is also just putting it in the oven. Now it's showtime. The biryani is ready. I can literally look at each and every grain of rice and I can tell that it's not clumped up. Traditionally, I would just eat it with my hands and that's what I'm gonna do right now. Just gonna take some of that meat, some of that yogurt. Exactly what it should be like. Rice is not clumped up. It's taken the flavor from the ginger, the mint, the cilantro. The saffrons perfume the rice perfectly. That's it. That's biryani.
Today I will be making Thai chazuke, rice with tea. Every single one of prefecture has their own version and also a kind of different style of ochazuke. Today I'm going to make a cold version. So this is Japanese short grain rice. It's sweet, it's subtle. It doesn't affect any other flavors, but it complements other things. So the rice is rinsed and it's ready to cook. I'm gonna put it in this clay pot called donabe. It's a very traditional method. Make sure it's leveled and put your finger in and the water goes up to here on the first joint. It is like usually a good measurement. If you wanna make better quality rice, you can put kombu, which is a kelp. And it cooks it with kombu's umami coming into your rice and it gets a little bit more shinier. You just put the lid on and start with the maximum fire first. Nowadays, there's a lot of electric rice cooker. They cook really great rice. But one thing that they can't do, and this does, is to make a okoge, which is the bottom crispy part. That's what makes this rice a little bit more elevated. So once it comes up to a boil, you bring it down the heat to the lowest. Let it be for about 15 to 20 minutes and turn off the heat and let it steam for about another 10 minutes. And your rice should be done. The rice looks very sharp and each grains are not sticking together. Slight brown color I was looking for. This rice spatula is called shamoji. Just like a rounder shape is good shape. You can grab rice without breaking the grain of the rice. Now this one is shio kombu. Snapper on top. And this is tamamiso. This is dashi stock with gyokuro tea. It's a Japanese green tea. This one I made with the cold brew style. There you have a ochazuke, Thai chazuke desu. Oishii desu. It's really good.
Today I'm making risotto. It's like creamy. The grains are not separate to each other. Risotto is typical from the northern of Italy. So for today we're using carnarolo rice. You can use arbori rice, you can use Roma rice. The way that I prefer to do it is dry toasting it. The salt, we're just gonna add it right now. So the goal for toasting the rice is because when we're gonna add the liquid, all the starches from the rice are just gonna come out. Risotto needs that starch to make the creaminess when we add the stock. So carnarolio is a little thicker, so when you stir it, it doesn't break. When you use like long grains, what you wanna have is like touch it less as possible, otherwise it's gonna break. So the saffron is for flavor, also for color. There is a lot of saffron, but you know, we want it to be yellow. Just a little more saffron. So I turn it off the heat because now I wanna add the fats and I don't want the fats to break. Just don't judge me when I'm doing this because it's gonna be a lot of butter. Parmigiano cheese. The secret of delicious stuff is a lot of butter and cheese. So what I made it here is like the sour butter. So it's a reduction of the white wine, vinegar, and butter, and some black pepper. When you eat something that's very heavy, you eat 1, 2, 3 spoons, then you're like, okay, that's it. But when you add the sour part, then you just wanna have more. This is what it is called all'onda, means the wave. So you wanna see the wave because that's the texture, and you wanna hear that sound. We're gonna let rest this one. The creaminess, you can see each singular grain, and then you just wanna flood it up. All right, so our dish of risotto is ready. You see it's creamy, it's al dente. I just love risotto so much.
We are making Yangzhou fried rice. It has its root in the city of Yangzhou, the birthplace of Yangzhou cuisine. The earliest documented version dates back 1,500 years with a beautiful name, rice with gold pieces. You want to use like day-old or leftover rice because it has less moisture. So when frying and tossed with other ingredients, each grain will separate. I am going to add chicken, bamboo, some Chinese ham, sea cucumber, dried scallops, rehydrated shiitake mushrooms, and some shrimp, rice wine, and then rice. And quickly separate the rice. And then you wanna add eggs. By tossing the rice in the hot wok, it also removes the excessive moisture. It's a quick cooking, so you want to make sure that you have room, like a wok, to be able to toss everything very quickly. Because the longer you let the rice cook, the moisture will go into rice and will make the rice super wet again. You don't want the amount of all the ingredients more than the rice, because the rice is the star. The rice is done, so you can see all the ingredients are mixed perfectly well. It looks dry, but it's actually very moist from the fat from all the ingredients, and also the rice are individually separated. It's soft, but you still feel a little bit of the chew and then the slight bounciness.
So today we're gonna make a rice pilaf. It's a French typical recipe. We don't see a lot of dishes with rice in France because of the climate. It's only grow in Camargue regions, southeast France. The variety of rice we have here, it's long grain because it keeps separate more. Saute the rice first. This way you create that crust around each grain, make the rice stay separately. The goal is to get the flavor of the garlic, the onion, and the butter to the rice. It's kind of oily, and that's what you want. Then you get that crust around each grain. Broth, season your rice, and salt, fresh bay leaf. You could use a lid, but it's better with a parchment paper. Doesn't keep the steam too much inside. This way you got a perfectly separate rice. As soon as it's boiled, we're gonna finish cooking it in the oven. It's been 17 minutes. It's perfect. There is no water in the bottom of the rice and that the rice is separated. So we're using a carving fork to mix a rice. This way we're not gonna break our rice and we're not gonna make it mushy or stick together. We wanna add a little bit butter for the flavor, but also to help the grain to separate a little bit more. So this is my rice pilaf. You can see the grain is very separate. Got a good texture, little firmness. It's perfect like that.
So the dish, it's called the ras mfaweh. Mfaweh means steam. So the rice will be steamed with some chicken and a lot of spices. We do find this dish in Algeria, mostly like in a wedding, we make that rice. It's like a luxury to have like chicken, rice, saffron, especially saffron, it's really expensive. So we are using a long grain basmati rice. It's very important to soak the rice at least 3 times just to remove the starch and it doesn't stick as much. So we are going to be using the couscousière. It's very old school. So in the bottom, we'll have the broth. Steam will go up, will flavor the rice. So I'm adding vegetable oil, the chicken, onion, carrot, the secret spice, the tomato paste, some thyme, bay leaves, chicken broth, the peas. It looks like it's actually steaming right now, so I am going to put the rice over it. I always like to add some broth over the rice. It smells already really good. So it's been about 20 minutes and it looks really good to me. So I'm gonna flip the plate. Allez, 1, 2, 3. Oh, bah voilà! I know I messed it up, but it's the charm of having traditional food where nothing is perfect. Looks fantastic for me. Oh la la. So good.
I'm going to cook ris alla Malta. It's a dessert that we make from rice porridge. Rice is not a very common grain in Sweden. We don't grow rice ourselves. So of course, bringing it in the early 1700s, it's a luxury item. So what we are starting with is to make the rice porridge. We use short grain rice. Soak it just for a few minutes to get a little bit of the starchiness out. You strain off all the water, and then I like to use half part of water, milk, and then we flavor it with whole cinnamon stick, sugar, a little bit of salt, brings up all the flavors. And everything is better with butter. And now you cook it on medium. The way you stir it, it becomes creamier. Perfect. So we put it in a bowl. Here is the chilled rice porridge. Take the cinnamon stick. We don't need that anymore. I whipped some heavy cream with vanilla beans and a little bit of vanilla extract. And the rice is absorbing some of the heavy cream. You want the kind of creamy texture to it. Then we are going to garnish with some fresh clementine, blackcurrant syrup or sauce. Okay, here we go. Ris alla Malta. The rice is cooked perfectly, nice and soft. You will like it.
Today we are making chicken rice. Rice pilav is all around Turkey, especially on the street. We're using baldo rice called osmancık. It is a medium grain rice, a little more starchy than basmati. In Turkey, pilav is cooked with orzo, which is actually a wheat product. I'm using orzo made of rye. In Turkey, I have never seen rice without orzo. Okay, now I'm gonna add butter. Rice now, this rice is washed. In Turkey, we do not cook the rice al dente. It should be thoroughly cooked, but it shouldn't be sticky. The goal is to keep the pieces separate. Toast this rice until it's kind of translucent. Now I'm adding the chicken broth. This broth is warm. Put these chicken pieces. We're gonna wait about 20 minutes for it to cook in as low heat as possible. The rice is almost ready. I'm gonna add chickpeas to this because I have never had chicken rice on the street without chickpeas. If the bottom gets a little sticky and brown, that's actually very good. That's probably going to be the most delicious part. It's very common in the household to eat the rice with yogurt. Yogurt gives a really nice little acidity and a little freshness. It's such a savory flavor. It's so good. My mama would be proud.
The quintessential American rice dish, for me, is rice and gravy. I think in the US, you're going to first find rice and gravy to be in the South. It has worked its way up to the North because there are multiple soul food restaurants. The rice is supposed to be a tiny bit tender, have a little bit of that kind of like bite to it. So I like to use the long grain parboiled rice. Oftentimes you need to rinse the rice off because it can get very sticky. With parboiled, you don't have to do that. It's literally dump it in the pot. I like to take my garlic clove and stick it right inside the water, and that will infuse into the rice. Okay, so now my grandmother told me, you do not mess with rice, okay? Do not play with it. You let it do its thing. Now our rice is finished. You see how it's like separating and fluffy and tender, and I'll just like try a little bit. Ooh, the garlic is nice in there. While the rice was cooking up, I made sure that I took care of my gravy. The parts of my gravy are chicken broth, fresh thyme, fresh rosemary. Sometimes I want to throw the parsley in there just because it makes it look pretty. That rice is definitely the star of the show. Just in texture alone, it is making sure that it holds everything together. Not bad, Shawnee.
So today I'm making a rice dish called yetimatim ruz, which is an Ethiopian word. It means tomato rice. It's spicy, very flavorful, and has a lot of juiciness to it. Rice is really not that common in Ethiopia because we're very proud of our teff. You know, it's home to Ethiopia, and that's the reason. We make a bread called injera. Injera is our staple. We eat everything with injera. It's our utensil, it's our rice, it's our bread. So we're gonna throw in a little bit of oil, and then a little bit of the diced onion, diced tomato. I'm gonna add berbere. Berbere is an Ethiopian spice consisting of 30 different spices. Every household makes it different. I like to save time and then get a pre-washed long grain rice so that I can saute it with the rest of the stuff so that it takes all that flavor. And then later I'm gonna add some water. Once the water absorbs, the rice is ready. Before it's fully cooked, I'm gonna add the diced carrots and the peas. So our yeruz timatim is ready. The rice took in all the flavors from all the spices. It's a little al dente.
Honestly, it's so good. Guys, try it.
I nailed it.
That is delicious.